days are cooler, nights are warmer, and I put the blame on you. Time moves slow, but my heart beats faster. When these eyes are looking right at you, right at you, you give me something to believe in, just what I needed. You're the closest.
All right, we were talking about the violator, the felon, Trump, going to Arlington to show, I don't even know what that was, because the hypocrisy is right in your face. A man that refused to serve this country, standing in front of a grave of someone that he put there, allegedly, his policies, right? His lack of understanding of geopolitical machinations, with a thumbs up and a smile. And violating the law of Arlington Cemetery. It's so Trump. But for people who don't know and they want to, say it's Biden, Afghanistan withdrawal, here are the facts. Here are the facts that Trump negotiated directly with the Taliban terrorists and excluded the Afghan army. Trump drew down U.S. forces from 13,000 to 2,500, making them vulnerable to attack. So those 13 soldiers that lost their lives, Trump ordered the release of 5,000 Taliban fighters from prison, one of whom would become the new leader of Afghanistan. Trump, not Biden, wanted to invite the Taliban leaders to Camp David on the anniversary of September 11th. That's a true story. Trump agreed to a May 1st exit from Afghanistan and then bragged that he didn't need an exit strategy. Trump refused to brief Biden's incoming team. He didn't brief them the way Obama left a whole dossier on what would happen if there's a pandemic, the way Obama handed him the whole dossier on what to do in the Middle East. Trump refused to brief Biden because he also refused to accept the results of the election, which left us not really having an exchange of power. There was not a real transfer of power from Trump to Biden. Biden had to start from scratch, or actually had to start several paces behind and then catch up. The fact that the Biden-Harris administration was able to do all the things without the help of the previous administration speaks to great leadership, but also that there was institutional knowledge with the previous president before Trump. And Trump shut down every air base in Afghanistan except one, crippling the United States' ability to extract the soldiers and its other assets safely. Trump did that. We have a TikTok from a former military vet, talking about this very thing. His name is Thomas Bishop on TikTok. Play it, Smith.
So Donald Trump did one of the most despicable things I think he's ever done since I've known of him, and that's saying something. Donald Trump decided to visit Arlington National Cemetery. Now, as an American citizen, he can go. More won't. But he went to a grave of one of the 13 service members that were killed on the raid or on the evacuation and leaving of Afghanistan. The reason I say it's one of the most despicable things I've ever seen is because Donald Trump is directly responsible for that service member dying. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you think I was going to say Biden? No. See, Donald Trump screwed that up from moment one. We had a government installed in Afghanistan. We did. But Donald Trump did negotiate with the Afghan government. He negotiated with the Taliban. You remember the people that we had been fighting all this time in that country? What the fuck, did y'all think we were only fighting Al-Qaeda? Who was protecting Al-Qaeda? The Taliban. He negotiated directly with them. Directly. Did not even have the Afghan government at the table. Oh, I'm sorry. And I have to keep reminding you of this. He wanted to meet with the Taliban at Camp David on September 11th. Yeah, he did that. Yeah. And the Taliban gave him a list of things they wanted, and he gave it to them, all of them, every one of them, including releasing 5,000 Taliban and Al-Qaeda fighters back to the Taliban. One of the people that he released is now the leader of the Taliban and therefore the leader of Afghanistan. He negotiated this so fucking poorly that it was bound to fail. And then he lost the election. And he made it worse. He tied the hands of the incoming Biden administration, and they had to follow through on the shit that he promised, which resulted in the death of 13 service members, 11 Marines, 1 Navy corpsman, and a staff sergeant from the United States Army. So here he is, posing with the family of this service member, this fallen service member, while giving a thumbs up. Let me tell you why this is one of the most despicable things that Donald Trump has ever done. In addition to everything I just told you, let's look at Donald Trump's history. Donald Trump never served in the United States military. Not one time. No member of the Trump family has ever served in the military. Not one. Not those ugly ass sons of his, and I'm not talking about Barron, nor his daughters. No member of the Trump family has ever served in the military. He got deferments for bone spurs so that he would not have to go to Vietnam. This is an absolute truth. Then, in a Playboy magazine article or interview, he said that dodging STDs in college was his own Vietnam. I wonder why there's so many Vietnam vets that support this man. How many more times does a guy have to pee in your face before you realize it's not rain, it's urine?
Nope. That was a tag and a half at the end there.
Yeah, I like that. There are a lot of military people who are supporting him. I don't. If you are a military person supporting Trump, I would like to know why. What is it? 866-801-8255. What is it?
And if I could say one thing about negotiating directly with terrorists, it's not unheard of for a U.S. president to do that. What is unheard of is to not have a conduit or not have an ally at the table or to not have a party to speak through to do that. Doing it directly is the problem. So I want to make that clear as well, because people will be like, well, this president did this. It's a thing. It's a way that we have to prosecute this war on terror that's somehow still going on 30 years later. This is what's so crazy, that he doesn't have real advisors around him, that he won't listen to a military general say, hey, bud, you gotta get the Afghan military in here, or you gotta, use one of our proxies to talk to the Taliban. You can't invite them to your home.
Yeah, he thinks he knows everything because he puts gold lettered things on buildings. It's a very strange and narcissistic and selfish and deranged almost way in which he sees the world, and it's dangerous for the rest of us. And I have so many questions, Cena. There was an assassination attempt. Was there a funeral for the man that threw his body over his family? We haven't heard too much of anything. The doctors that treated Trump, like what? When Reagan was shot, around the clock, we got all kinds of information. We knew everything about Hinckley. I know Hinckley because of that. I know he had the Jodie Foster obsession. We know everything. This young man that tried to kill Trump, body was cremated quickly, nobody. One of the Congress people, Republican, went to investigate and look at the body. It was gone, Cena. I feel like we're in a very horrible movie. And this man has been indicted, convicted, felonies, sexual offender, and he's running for president, and he has obstructed justice, led an insurrection, and also, made it virtually, held up the election, our free elections. He did that.
And Jack Smith just filed charges again.
Yes.
Based on the Supreme Court ruling that just happened, which is fantastic, by the way. I kind of had a feeling that was going to happen. This
Say
man.
more. Say more.
Well, the Supreme Court said, they had the type of ruling wasn't you're not allowed to bring this case. It was the way you brought the case was not right. And so Jack Smith said, okay, I'll just re-indict him and I'll use the same language. Because when you are so egregiously breaking the law, it's not that hard to re-indict. It's not like it was a very nuanced thing. He clearly withheld and through a well beyond the scope of his presidential authority, held up the peaceful transfer of power. So, this is a thing that's going to happen, and I'm actually very interested to see how the court's going to react as far as the pace in which that case is going to be adjudicated.
I mean, so my concern is, I don't know what's going to happen in November, but
It's going to be close. It's gonna be very
because of the Electoral College, not because of the physical votes.
Yeah.
She's going to win in a landslide in actual, votes. But we have this pesky Electoral College with roots in slavery that we still use to determine our elections, and something's really wrong with that. But here we are once again on pins and needles. And if he gets reelected, God forbid, all of this goes away.
Oh yeah.
He's going to pardon them. He's going to wipe it all away. He's going to pardon the January 6th. He calls them patriots or something. He's going to install a lot of them into federal government. Like, y'all, really? This is what for real? It's like, why is this close? Why is this even a conversation? I'm so baffled.
My days are cooler, nights are warmer, and I put the blame on you. Time moves slow, but my heart beats faster. When these eyes are looking right at you, you give me something to believe in, just what I needed. You're the closest.